probably the most saddening part about the patch notes. They nerfed Warden. Like, I was winning all my duels with this, but now they decreased the frequency of the Warden's Feral Guardian Bear Sniff animation. Like, bro, I don't even know what to say about this. Like, it's really depressing. Like, I don't even know, like, how I'm supposed to perform in PvP anymore, but anyways. Hey, what's up, guys? It's Cody. In this video, we're going to be breezing over the PvP-related content in the Clockwork City PTS patch notes. So if you guys are looking for the PvE stuff, the housing, dungeons, trials, you're going to find that in a different video. So without further ado, let's begin. I'm not coming into this blind, guys. I did look at this beforehand, so basically I'm just going to be going over the things I highlighted. So PvP, combating gameplay, sets, and things like that. So the first thing I want to introduce to you guys is the new trial. Now I know that's PvE related, but it affects PvP players because this new trial called the Asylum Sanctorium includes a new type of master weapon. These are called Asylum weapons, and they basically will buff a weapon skill in the weapon skill lines. So there are two different types of these weapons. There's an Asylum and a Perfect Asylum. They're basically the same thing. They give the same buff. The Perfect Asylum will give a slightly higher buff than the Asylum. It's very minimal, so Asylum is normal. Perfect Asylum is veteran. So you farm the Asylums on normal and the Perfect Asylums on veteran. But they give the same buff, just the Perfect one is going to be slightly better, more min-maxed. Okay, so I'm going to go over the sets now. There's 3 item sets at crafting stations in Clockwork City, and there's 6 item sets in the new trial. So we got the innate Axiom. This is crafted, so medium, light, heavy. Max Magicka, max stamp, spell crit, weapon crit. So it has sort of a hybrid sort of deal since you're getting both stats. And this adds 400 spell and weapon damage to your class abilities. So it doesn't look super OP or anything, but it's cool. It's a unique set. We got another crafted set, Fortified Brass. This looks like a tanky set. Max health, physical resistance, spell resistance. It's cool because this is a tanky set, and you can wear this as light, medium, heavy armor. So these are going to give 3. If you guys don't know the values of these sets with physical and spell resistance, usually give around 3k. It's a little bit under 3k resistance, but yeah, the set in all gives around 8k. Another crafted set, we got weapon, spell damage, max stam, max magicka, so another hybrid sort of deal. And it looks like a proc set. You have a 15% chance to gain this when you deal damage for 5 seconds, causing your attacks to always be critical strike. So you have 5 seconds on a 15% proc chance to always crit. Cool. The only thing that I do not like about this set is the 18-second cooldown is really the turn off of this set. That's too long for it to be viable. We got Clockwork City. This is a light set, spell crit, 2 lines of it, spell damage, and it's a proc. When you deal damage, you have a 10% chance to summon a Verminous Fabricant that charges the nearest enemy, dealing 10k shock to all enemies. So it's a AoE proc set and a CC, it looks like. So hard-hitting CCs are valuable in this game, like Dizzy Swing, Take Flight, Dawnbreaker, but most of the proc sets now are changed, and they do have a Telegraph, and this does have a 10-second cooldown, which isn't that bad. 10 seconds is probably the bare minimum of what I would go in terms of running a proc set. But yeah, this is before CP values and any racial passives, so this could go up pretty high, and it's an AoE CC, so it may be a good set to look at. Next up, we have a medium armor set, Unfathomable Darkness. This is going to give weapon crit, physical pen, and weapon damage. Cool set. This is the 3rd set, I believe, that gives physical pen. You got Spriggans, Crags, and now you have this, so that's cool to know. It looks like another proc set. You deal damage. You have a 10% chance when you deal damage to summon a Murder of Crows around you for 12 seconds. Every 3 seconds, a crow will be sent to peck the closest enemy within 12 meters of you, dealing 4k physical and 15-second cooldown. Really high cooldown. But just remember, you're getting it for 12 seconds, so essentially there's only a 3-second cooldown. A crow will proc every 3 seconds, so that means this thing can proc 4 times. 4k physical is pretty low, but this is before CP values or any passives, so I don't really know if it's a really good set. There's honestly a lot of things that are going to outdo that, but we'll see. We'll test the things on PTS eventually. Livewire heavy set, healing taken, max health healing taken. When you take damage, you have a 25% chance to overload your circuits, applying concussion to enemies within 8 meters of you and healing for 1,000 health for each enemy hit. Pretty low heal value and 10-second cooldown. Okay, so if you guys don't know, concussion is a status effect which can apply minor vulnerability to enemies, so they can take 8% increased. They will take 8% more damage. So this can help not only yourself do damage, but your group, since they will all have a chance to have minor vulnerability. So not a bad set. 10 seconds is bare minimum. Like I said before, like if it's above 10 seconds, it's a pretty long cooldown. But it's a tank set. You're getting healing taken, and you get health from the 5th piece, and you also debuff your enemies. Basically, they will take more damage. And it's a really high proc chance too. When you take damage, you have a 25% chance, so this is going to proc literally instantly in open world PvP. Now, like I said before, there's 2 different weapons. There's the perfected and the non-perfected asylum weapons. The perfected is going to have a slightly bigger buff, and the non-perfected is going to have a slightly lower buff. And you can't mix them together for dual wield and one-hand weapons. So you can't have a perfected dual wield sword and a non-perfected dual wield sword. You can't mix those together. They have to be the same. They have to be 2 perfected or 2 normals. So just getting that clear. Same with sword and board. So the dual wield asylum weapon, it has the enchantment called Chaotic Whirlwind. When you deal damage with Whirlwind, so the Steel Tornado base morph, you add 10 seconds to your active Twin Slashes, Lacerate, and Blade Cloak over time effects. This effect can occur once per cast of those abilities. So yeah, there's no cooldown basically. You basically just have to Whirlwind and then do a skill Whirlwind, and you'll keep getting the buff. It doesn't really look that strong in PvP, to be honest. This could be strong in PvE with the Twin Slashes, and if you do use Lacerate for some reason, but yeah, I don't know if that is going to, like, honestly, it's not really useful in PvE. I don't even know why I'm talking about PvE, but like I don't think it's useful in either PvE or PvP. So yeah, that's not good. Concentrated Force. This is really strong. Force Shock will always apply burning, concussion, and shield status effects. This effect can occur once every 4 seconds per enemy. So it's not a global cooldown, it's an enemy cooldown. So basically you can Crushing Shock this guy, apply those effects. Crushing Shock that guy, apply those effects. And you can only apply it onto that person every 4 seconds. Now the good thing about this is extra damage and what these effects give. So burning gives burning. It's a dot, it's a flame dot, strong. Concussion, minor vulnerability, 8% increased damage, and shield, minor maim. So reducing the damage they do to you. So really strong. I could just imagine this on Magical Sorcerer. Like, you're going to be hitting harder, they're going to be hitting you less, and you're going to have a dot. Like, it's going to be really good. Defensive position. This is the sword and board one. By the way, this is the Destro. I don't know if I said that, but the Destruction Staff. This is a sword and board one. When you reflect or absorb a spell projectile with defensive posture, so like that's the skill where you can either absorb a projectile and heal or reflect a projectile. You restore 2k magicka. If defensive posture expires without reflecting or absorbing a spell projectile, you restore 5k magicka. So this is probably not going to happen. And yeah, this is like this part, like if you're playing open world, there's no way you're like that it's a pretty long buff. It's not going to fall off. So the only thing you're going to want to be looking at is this part. So you're basically trading stam for magicka. So it's cool. It could work in some builds. I don't have any ideas yet, but a pretty cool idea. I like it. Discipline Slash. Now this one looks really, really strong. This is the Executioner for the 2-hand. When you deal damage with reverse slash, so Executioner or reverse slice, it doesn't matter. You generate up to 15 ultimate based on how much execute bonus damage is dealt. So if you're executing someone at 100% health, you're not going to get ultimate. But once you hit that under 50% health, basically the lower health they are, the more ultimate you're getting. So if you're hitting someone at like 5 to 10% health, you're probably going to be getting up from anywhere to 12 to 15 ultimate. So the lower health they are, the more ultimate you're getting. I like this idea because there's a lot of times where you're executing someone at low health and they don't die either because they're a tank or a sorcerer with shields. And what this is going to allow you to do is basically get your ultimate super quick. Basically, there's no cooldown in this. You can like execute at 20% health, execute at 15. That's going to be like 12 ult, 13 ult. And basically you can get up to enough ult to maybe just finish them off with an ultimate. So it's a cool idea. I really like that. 2-hand asylum weapon is really strong. And if you look at the normal one, guys, like if you don't want to do PvE, dude, 14 ultimate's kind of like the same thing. So like minimal difference. Piercing Spray. This is the bow asylum weapon. When you deal damage with arrow spray, you cause enemies hit to take 50% more damage on the direct portion of your next snipe, scatter shot, or poison arrow. So I don't know. This could be the new gank meta, dude. Who knows? You arrow spray, you cloak out of there and snipe someone for like 50% more damage. Wow. But you need to use it within 5 seconds. So you need to line it up pretty. You have a pretty big window, but it's pretty cool. Like, we know poison injection is really strong since it's an execute. 50% more damage is a big multiplier. So really cool. The only downside is arrow spray isn't really used, but later in the notes it does get buffed. So it may be something to use next patch, guys. It's a good AoE actually. And then you got the Resto Asylum Weapon. Timeless Blessing is the enchantment. When you cast Blessing of Protection, so that's like the heal. You slam your Resto Staff on the ground and it heals in a cone area and yourself. The other more combat prayer gives minor berserk, and the other one increases your heals and gives you minor resolve and ward. I think I haven't used the skill in forever, but when you cast that skill, the cost of your next grand healing, regeneration, or steadfast ward used within 5 seconds is reduced by 50. So that's not bad. Like, healing ward is a really expensive skill, anywhere from like 3.7 to 4k I think it costs, depending on your reduction. So that's cool to know, but like, this is not a skill a lot of PvPers use. So this is probably going to be like something for like a healer and like a big group or small group. I don't know, but yeah, cool. And then let's see what we got next. New battleground game mode. It's called Crazy King. It's basically King of the Hill, guys. It's supposed to provide fast moving. It's a fast moving game mode. Basically, it's supposed to keep the players moving. It's always changing. Who knows how it will go though. They also did change CP, but we haven't gotten. They also changed the way battlegrounds are now, but I haven't gotten into that. The transmutations. This is cool. Too bad they let us know like now, because like I don't even know how many times I've gotten training weapons that from dungeons, or like I don't even know, but I never like picked them up because I never knew a system was gonna like be in the game. Like, I never knew a system like this would be in the game. But basically you can retrade items, guys. You can retrade everything but jewelry. So as long as you research that trait, so let's say you research sturdy, you can retrade your shield to sturdy. You can retrade your heavy armor leg to sturdy. Like, as long as you research that trait, you can retrade your item. The stations are in this new service station found in the Brass Fortress. I guess that's a new zone. If you're like one of those rich guys, you can purchase one of these transmutation places. Now, how do you get these? How do you actually do this? You need to get these transmute crystals, and thank God they drop in PvP. They don't only drop in PvE. So veteran PvE activities such as pledges, trials, arenas, several PvP sources, rewards of the worthy, battleground, Alliance War campaign sort of deal. And there are account-wide and capped currency which cannot be banked or traded. So you can't trade or bank it for whatever reason. Transmutation requires have previously researched that desired trait. So like I was saying, you need to have the trait researched. And jewelry cannot be transmuted. Oh yeah, they also increased the champion point cap to 690. So yay, dude, more champion points. 690, 30 more. Cool. What else we got? We got Battlegrounds. This is what I was talking about earlier. Battleground queues are now divided into 10, levels 10 to 49, and 50. So basically, if you were one of those players who were getting in Battlegrounds with people on your team that are lobies and have no idea what they're doing, that won't happen anymore. So you'll have a higher chance of having a more competent team, basically. So it means you will only have level 50 players playing against level 50. So people will be on similar skill levels, hopefully. And the level 50 Battleground queue is now CP enabled. So that's interesting. I actually want to kind of play Battlegrounds because I'm a person that likes taking advantage of my CP because I'm bad. So yeah. Okay, Warden. Not much morphs to classes. There's slight buffs in certain classes, but we're going to be going over them. So Warden, this is the bird thing, purple wings skill. It's in Animal Companions. The one that gives minor evasion, since it's minor evasion and it's 5%, they increase the duration to 14 seconds. So that's cool. That's a slight buff. It's not going to really make or break the class. If anything, it's a buff. So these are really pointless. I'm not going to be going over them. They're really not important. What do we got next? We got Dragon Knight. There's some really cool Dragon Knight changes that I like. I don't know if it's going to make... I don't think the class is going to be like anything like Warden, but Cauterize, I thought highlighting this was cool. Increasing the speed of the projectile from this morph by approximately 50%. So this is really fast now. Projectile can now target the casting Dragon Knight. So it's another self-heal. I really don't think the self-heal is that strong at all, but now you can heal yourself with that ability. So that's cool. It's something that gives major prophecy and now can heal yourself. and it's fast. Petrify, so this is no longer a 30-second disorient. It will still go through block and dodge, so that's good, but it's a stun instead of a disorient. So basically what that means is I don't think you can break someone's fossilized. Like a disorient before is as soon as you do damage to someone in a fossilized or someone that is disoriented, it will break. They don't have to CC break. So the good thing about Petrify is like if they're out of stam, they're going to be stunned for 2.5 seconds, not breaking out by your damage. So broken out by your damage. So, and they also reduce the cost. Fossilized does cost a lot. They reduced it by 23%, so that's good. Shifting standard. I really like this morph. I actually thought about this idea a long time ago, but now it's less. It used to be you could have a shifting standard for up to like 30-something seconds. Basically, you have it for here this long, and you can shift it over here for a total time of 30 seconds. Now it's 25 seconds, but you can shift it as many times as you want. So you can go over this guy, drop it. Over that guy, drop it. Like you can drop it as many times as you want for 25 seconds, but they increase the ultimate cost. It's no longer 200, it's 250. So it's a buff and a nerf at the same time, but I really like the change. Like basically you have a good flame dot with major defile that can be placed as many times as you want. I do not think Battle Roar is going to count in for this, by the way. Like you're only going to get the Battle Roar for the first banner, but cool change. I like that. Mass Hysteria, so basically the fear morph that all the Nightblades use will only fear 2 enemies now, as opposed to 6. The other fear morph now fears 6, but that morph is not good. And yeah, that's a nerf to fear. I don't think they needed to do that, but okay. Yeah, this is like the dumbest thing I've ever seen. Agony, I don't even understand this, but basically you deal damage to yourself to give your ally a heal as a Nightblade. Yeah, I don't even know, dude. Like, why would you want to do that? It's like a weird siphoning sort of RP thing that they like came up with, but I don't know. Sork. This Sork has now a freaking stun that goes through block and roll dodge. Why? Sork has like the most highest burst potential in the game. They just gave it a CC that goes through block and dodge. This is not okay. I know a lot of sorcerers aren't going to be able to fit this on their bar in open world because of streak and like mines, but oh my god, if like you're being used, if someone uses this on you in duels, man, it's going to be brutal. Just saying. But like this morph deals damage to the enemy if the stun lasts the full duration. That is pointless. That will never happen. And this one, it's the same thing. Like it will stun them and instead disorient them when they deal damage to you. So as soon as they hit you, stun for 2.5 seconds. It goes through block and dodge. It's literally Sorcerer Petrify. Not okay. Eclipse is now breakable, guys. So that bubble is now breakable, but it returns damage to direct damage now. So before you could like hurt yourself with a crystal frag, crushing shock, anything that's projectile. Now you can hurt yourself with a dizzy swing, surprise attack. So that's a cool idea. I don't think a lot of Templars are going to use it anyways, but I'm glad you can CC break it now because that was annoying, like the resource guards and everything. Yeah, this is still terrible. They try to make this into like an AoE, but this Solar Barrage skill, the other morph of Dark Flare, it has a low initial and it has a cast time, so it makes it ineffective. Like I was saying earlier, they did buff Acid Spray, so increase the damage over time of this morph by approximately 65%. So yeah, basically that's the skill that is buffed by Silent Weapons. So cool. And what else we got? Shooting Star. Oh yeah, you can't cast this on dead enemies anymore. So if you're ever one of those players that accidentally cast a meteor on someone who died, yeah, that won't happen no more. So if you were a noob, you're no longer a noob. Oh, this is another thing. The Maelstrom weapons, they don't add weapon damage anymore. So they'll only have like the critical charge thing. So the Merciless Charge, the dot you apply when you crit rush or stampede, yeah, you don't have this weapon damage no more. So they're just there for the enchantment. I don't know if that's the same for Master, because the Master one gave weapon damage too. I'm pretty sure it's for all. I'm pretty sure it's for Master Maelstrom. It's like a nerf, technically. Oh, and they buffed Master and Maelstrom weapons, and they're actually really good buffs. Check this out. So the Master 2H increase the damage bonus of cleave direct damage to 2k. So that's just a straight 2k increase for whatever tooltip you have. I don't think it's going to be that strong, but 2k is a really high number. I'm not sure how high the cleave tooltip is, but check that out. It may be good. It's an AoE too, so. And one morph gives minor heroism and one gives a shield. So the Minor Heroism AoE one may be pretty cool. The Master One-Handed Shield, increase the heal amount of puncture to 2500 from 2150, so a slight increase in the heal, and it now grants spell and physical resistance equal to the amount healed. So I'm pretty sure this is affected by Blessed and Minor and Major Mending. So if you can get this to like a high value, this could probably hit like 4 or 5k. You'll basically get 4 or 5k spell resistance for 3 seconds. But that is pretty good. It does not say it has a cooldown. So if you're just puncturing, you're getting heals and resistance. It's really good. Master Dual Wield, increase the damage bonus to twin slashes to 1500. This is really good because bleeds go through resistances and block, and this is a 1k buff, so that's pretty cool. Master Destro, increase the destructive touch direct damage, another buff. This is really, really strong, man. The Maelstrom one-hand shield. So the Maelstrom one-hand shield used to do nothing before. I really wish they told me this before, because I got rid of all of those weapons because they weren't even Maelstrom weapons, but now they are. Your low slash will now cause your next fully charged heavy attack used within 5 seconds to restore an additional 2k magic and stamina. So like you heroic slash, and if you heavy attack after that, 2k magic and stamina, no cooldown. That is so strong in terms of sustain. Like heavy armor builds already get a big chunk of stamina, like 3k stamina usually. If you heroic slash and then do this, 5k stamina. That's really strong, man. No cooldown stated, so really strong. And you also get more magicka from the Maelstrom Resto, restored by regeneration. So 800 from 481. So more magicka when you crit your rapid regen. I think my mom yelled at me. Anyways, they made improvements to overall frame rate. They always say they do this. I don't think they actually do, but fix game crashes, improve load times, frame rate. And that is about it for the patch notes. I hope you guys enjoyed. It's Cody PvP. If I missed anything or you have any questions, list them down below. Like the video, subscribe, and I'll see you guys later. Peace out.